Okay, let's get into enhancing our form pattern now. We're going to have to change this button and the back to login button. We don't want them to be the same, so we need a new variant of this button. So we're going to enhance our button variant here. At the moment we've got two, which is just two states, right? We've got one type and two states. So let's start writing this down in our documentation. This is our buttons page. Let's just write this here. So what have we got? Default state. Oh, why is it constantly? Default state and a hover state. And of course we're going to need more states in the future. And these are our states. Right. Now we're going to extend this across by adding new types. And we're going to need the states for each type. So let's do our text type. I'm going to duplicate that. And what I'm going to do is simply remove the background. But we've only got state at the moment, so we're going to have to add a property here to our button variant. We're going to call it type. So this is another axis. So now we have two options here, state and type. This one is new, so this one is type text, and state is default. Some people call this enabled, for example. There's various namings, but let's just take default for now. Now we're going to need our hover state too. So this is type text, correct, but the state should be hover. And for the hover state, we might add a background. So let's see what colors we've got. We've got color input border, we've got color button BG hover. Now this one we probably have to rename this token because this one would be the default button BG. See, we've got these are no good for us. Color button BG default. So that will be the default state. So we don't really want that either. Right, so we're going to need a new token here. So let's add another color variable to our design system. Color button BG. We're going to have to specify the type of button now. So color button text BG hover. So the hover is going to be the light grey. So we should also update our other token here. Color button default BG. Now some people use double here, double dash, to suggest this is a modifier. We're not going to do that for now, but maybe we can think of that. So I've just added the type of button there. Now I've called it default and we might rename it later. Obviously a good architecture is key, but it's hard to do that out from the start. Architectures can become complicated. So this is the default type button, which we could rename, right, to enabled or some other, or primary or something like that, which maybe we'll do. And then we have our text type. And we'll tidy these docs up later. Right now it's just very basic. Okay, so now if we want this to be on hover, we need to add a fill, and we should have a new text BG hover. Okay. All right, now we've got the text type button with its hover state. So now we can go and update that, and in our prototype we'll see we can use all four of these states. This one we're going to change, this button, to type text. This one we're going to change to type text. And when we get to actually prototyping, we actually do have to fix the prototyping on our button because we copied it. It's inheriting some settings. So while hovering, change to hover type text. That seems to be fine. We don't need that. You must always be careful. So that should work. If it doesn't, we'll come back and fix it. Okay, let's test it. Previous hovers, the hover here, and now we have the hover on the sign up and the login. There we go. Now we've got decent hovers on all states, gentle hover. Great. So now I think in the next video we're going to upgrade this component to a field, so we have a bit more, a few more options, such as label and helper text, which we're going to need for our form patterns going forward for validation. Let's jump into that.